everybody. Welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire Q&A. I am here with the famous Wendi Hill, president and founder of Market Momentum, and I am your host, Scotty Milas. I am part of the Perfect Franchise. Scott Milas, franchisecoach.com is powered by the perfectfranchise.com, an educational opportunity, education provided to people who are looking to explore business ownership and franchising as an option. Rapid Fire Q&A, our monthly event is website questions that have been emailed to me, questions that have been emailed to Wendi. So I will make a plug for Wendi, though, that if anyone who's a small, medium, mid-sized business looking for some marketing ideas, initiatives, please reach out to Wendi, Market Momentum. You can find Wendi Hill. It's Wendi Hill on LinkedIn, or if anybody has any questions about her services. I've been with Wendi. I think we're going on celebrating almost 7 years now. So anyway,
I believe so.
Time flies when you're having fun. But anyway, Wendi, let's get this rodeo started, as they say. See what I can do here.
This month we have 7 questions, so a little more.
Okay.
Here's number 1. What is the typical purpose of a royalty fee in a franchise system?
The purpose of the royalty fee, if you look at it as a scoop of vanilla ice cream, is legally the way franchisors' brands make their money. Now, royalties range from brand to brand, so you really have to dig in when you're looking at the FDD what the fee is. But that fee is there really to help pay salaries, pay the employees, the people that support. It's supposed to be used as a profit center. That's how the brands make money. So a lot of that can be distinguished and identified in the FDD in the financial section of the brand. The key here is you want to make sure that those royalties are being used for things as paying to help income for the brand, for the franchisor, growing the brand itself. What you don't want to see is that marketing dollars, technology fees are a profit center. That's the key here. The profit center is the royalties, and that's what your due diligence as a franchisee, someone looking to become a franchisee, should really look into.
Okay, good. Great. Thank you. Number 2, which part of the FDD tells you about initial investment cost and startup capital requirements?
Item 7 in the FDD talks about the initial investment. Now, in your initial conversations before you get the FDD, a brand or even a consultant will tell you, hey, the investment level is X to Y. Keep in mind that all franchisors are required from the previous registration period to show what the low and the high was for the investment period for the new FDD from the previous year. Okay. In item 7, though, that range is broken down even further. So in other words, you don't walk into a bank or call up the SBA or whatever it is and say, hey, I need a loan for X. And they go, what for? And you go, well, I don't know. The item 7 breaks out what that range is. Now, keep in mind, and in today's world is a perfect example, things change. So when that new FDD came out, based on that range, parameters may change. So cost of materials may go up. Transportation to get those materials for a build out or whatever may change. So keep in mind that even though the item 7 may give you a range, it's really important to talk to the brand about what they're thinking about now. You know, if prices have gone up 20%, 25%, then you can't expect it to be in that range. May not be in that range, not expect, but may not be in that range. So it's very careful to analyze that item 7, talk to franchisees in your validation about the initial cost, the cost them to get in, and so forth.
Okay, good answer. Number 3, what does territory protection really mean in a franchise agreement?
I just did a LinkedIn post on this, and it's coincidental that this question came in. Territory is interesting. We have 2 types of territory. We have units, which is typically referred to a brick and mortar, and then we have territory, which is either a B2B, B2C service-based business. So territories, service-based businesses, are typically defined by a geographical number of zip codes, businesses, homes in a certain area. And you have that fenced in area based on what you invest in, whether it's 1 territory, 2 territories, 3 territories. Units is a different model because it's based on brick and mortar. So when you open a brick and mortar location, you have a fenced in area where the brand is not going to, they call it an exclusive territory, is not going to open or allow somebody else to open with X amount of miles from you.
Okay.
Now, it's very important that you read the FDD and the guidelines for this, because there are some brands that plug in certain things. Well, we as a corporate have the right to open something in your area. So you really have to kind of get into and understand what the territory restrictions, the exclusivity of those territories are all about. It's just not somebody saying, here, put a store here, or here's your territory. The devil's in the details.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind that if you do multiple territories or multiple units, there's typically a development schedule that goes along with that. So when you're talking to a brand about multiple units, multiple territories, because you're interested in scaling, that's the beauty of franchising, multiple units, multiple territories to build your income. You must also start thinking about what your management structure is going to be like, because you can't be in 2 units at the same time, and you can't be in 2 territories at the same time or growing. So you really have to strategically think how you're going to manage this out. And of course, the brands are going to want to know that to get an inculcation how you picture this. What you don't want to happen, Wendi, is you don't want to get involved in multiple territories, multiple units, because you have an ego and you want to tell your friends that you just bought 10x or 20 of this. There's a strategic approach to this, but you have to look into the details and how they define territories and units, what they can and can't do with those territories or units that you have.
That is very helpful information. We could do a whole video on that topic.
We probably could.
We should.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Okay. Number 4, what does it mean if a franchise system has rapid unit growth, but declining average unit revenue?
My first reaction to that would be that the brand is spending too much time and focusing on selling units or offering franchises versus paying attention to the units, territories that they have awarded, and getting those people up and running and training them to be successful.
Okay.
If you go in the back of the FDD, you can always find what's called SNO, SNO, sold not open. That is something every potential franchisee should look at in the FDD, because that's a clear indication of where the brand's focus may be. Or to what we just talked about, somebody bought 10 territories or 10 units based on ego, and the brand said, okay, and now they're not following their development schedule. But you really want to pay attention to, the focus of brand support to the franchisee as you're looking at a brand. I always tell my clients when I'm coaching them, I says, look, the analytics are very important. Don't get me wrong, but that's the end game. You got to focus in on the beginning game, the support, the operations, the training to get you started. Because if you're not comfortable with all that, the end game, the numbers don't matter. You know, I mean, if you don't think you can live with somebody, you're not going to marry them. It's follow what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the best answer to that question, at least for now.
What questions should an investor ask to determine whether a franchisor's training and onboarding program is actually effective?
This is invalidation. It's part of the perfect franchise educational process that I work with my clients is what we've put together as a 6-step validation process. For example, hey, Mrs. Franchisee, Mr. Franchisee, or even Mr. Brand, Mrs. Brand Developer, tell me how your marketing helps me get clients. How does your marketing help me serve clients? Where are the economics to that marketing? What is it costing me? Where's the value proposition to my clients and to me as the franchisee? So there's kind of this program we put together to best validate. But you also want to ask the franchisees in the system, hey, is the brand support up to what they said they were going to, it was when you were validating and talking to them before you became a franchisee. Is it supporting you? Is it helping you grow? Is it supporting your clients? So that's all part of the validation process.
Okay. Here's number 6. How can a prospective franchisee determine whether the franchisor is making money primarily from successful operators or from selling new franchises?
Goes back to the initial question, the question a couple of
Mhm.
questions ago. It's that snow, sold not open.
Okay.
It's really digging into the validation of the brand. Hey, I saw you have 300 in development, but you only have 100 open. How many of those people own more than 3, or how many have more than 5 that they've invested in? Remember, development schedules in multi-unit, multi-territory are typically, you open your first one, then you have a year to open your second one. Open your second one, you have another year to open your third one. Now, again, there may be some bumps in the road, and there may be some leniency as far as that development schedule. And that may be the brand's fault that you're seeing a lot of these brand stores or locations not getting open, because they're focused, one, on not getting
Right.
people up and running, and they're just focused on offering franchises, or 2, the people who bought multiple units or multiple territories are in a position where they can open their second or third or fourth location or territory, because they're not getting the support from the brand. It's not working out as well. So that's all part of the validation process.
Okay. Good. 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 Here's the last question for today. Number 7. Is there a real risk behind a franchise system where a large percentage of locations are owned by the franchisor itself?
What we call embryonic brands, you're going to find that may be the case. So there may be a brand that would have 6 or 7 locations, but they're all corporate run. And
Right.
now they've elected to franchise the brand.
Okay.
You may see a brand that has 10 corporate locations, and now they have 4 or 5 operating units. So now what you want to do is the validation part to those opening units, the franchisees. Is the brand there to support you? What you don't want to happen is that the franchisor is spending more time running their corporate locations and not supporting you. The other thing you want to take a look at when you're reviewing an item 19,
Okay.
which is revenue numbers, potential revenue, however the brand is showing it, that is and ask the question, is the brand collecting royalties from those corporate locations?
Okay.
So that, again, so I have never been a believer in a brand that has, I shouldn't say believer, but I've never been 100% comfortable with a brand who has a lot of corporate stores. I've seen a lot of franchisors kind of run into trouble and then scramble to sell their units.
Okay.
Good franchisors, I think, in my opinion, are focused on their franchisees and not so much running their corporate locations. Now, if you want to have a couple, 2 or 3 locations scattered around the US to use as training stores
Right.
to make it easier for people to get to, understand.
Good.
But I always caution people, if you have a lot of corporate locations, to my clients, you got to really dig deep into the validation with talking to other franchisees in the system.
Okay. All great information. That's all the questions I have.
Hey, another great round of rapid fire Q&A. Again, I am your host, Scotty Milas, ScottMilasFranchiseCoach.com, ThePerfectFranchise.com. You can email me, Scotty@ThePerfectFranchise.com. You can also check us out on our successful podcast, All Things Considered Franchising. We just put up 2 new podcasts, one about a gentleman who left corporate America, and also started a service-based business. And of course, we just had the founder of Millie's Ice Cream on. Really unique story with that Millie's Ice Cream, really. But as I mentioned to you, anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to Wendi Hill, or if you have any questions for this episode, Rapid Fire Q&A, reach out to Wendi on LinkedIn or email me directly. What did I miss, Wendi? Anything?
I think that's it. That was good.
All right. Also, you can reach me at 413-935-5111. This is Scotty Milas saying until next time, we will see you then. Bye-bye.